you're trying your best, but there is some issue with the network or something. But you have prepared really informative PPT. Like this time, you give me a chance, uh, so that I can present. You are sharing
Yes, sir, no
valuable
problem. I
information.
think my internet is not good.
Exactly, because so you have done your best. It's very good work. Let us continue, and we'll just move forward with the discussion. Let me present.
Yes, sir, definitely, sir.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for a valuable and so informative. Uh, all right, so guys, let me just go ahead from this point. So Vikas was just explaining us that for web development we can use these particular programming languages, and for iOS specifically we use Swift, C hash, and Kotlin, and also we use Flutter. Where with Flutter we can also develop iOS and web applications. So Flutter is a native programming. Actually, it's a framework and it uses Dart programming. So these are like just to aware. Let's see what are the database technologies. So every application has these three components definitely. One is front end, back end, and database. So for database, these are the technologies we are using: Firebase, MongoDB, SQL. And for Python, let's say for backend we have these technologies. Right now we are going with Python as a backend, but there are like other programming languages, that is Dart, PHP, Ruby, and Java. So these are like server side scripting languages which are capable of interacting with the database, and processing data, and editing files and all. And for front end there are different frameworks. We can use HTML, CSS, and we can use Flutter, Kiwi, and JavaScript for front end. And as well as JavaScript has many libraries like React JS we can use, right? So clear with this part? So now we have the you know the graphical representation that an application contains front end, back end, and database. So with this we got to know that it's a complete application, and we have got these many components. And a user is going to interact with front end. Whatever website we are seeing or application we are seeing, it's just front end. And back end and database we cannot see as a user. And in this example we can see like how every information is fetched from the database. And then we can see like there are multiple status over here which are being fetched from a database. And in that there is a table called status. It might be storing the URL of video, which video is to be represented, which profile pic should be displayed. The URL for that profile picture will be stored in the database, and that using that URL we can display the image over here. And when we click on any of the tile over here, we can see like if we click on this tile, it's actually requesting sent messages, stickers, whatever messages we sent, it will fetch the data. And then it will display that in a new window. And when we click on this button, it's a icon like it's going to add a new chat basically. So similar to our WhatsApp. And there are like multiple other fields in the database. They're like group members, groups. So every group has a unique ID, and in order to get all the members of this group, we have the group members, which user ID and group ID will be there, and fetching data, and which is much appropriate way. So this is the interaction between the front end and back end. So in this we have a real-time example. So when we click on any icon, let's say for updating profile picture, when we click on edit icon, it will ask us to add a new image. And after adding a new image, we send the data to backend. And backend there exactly we are processing the data and saving it into the database, right? Then we are displaying the updated image. And similarly for deleting a message, we are sending request again to backend. Backend is responsible for deleting the record from the database. So in this example, the example is something related to WhatsApp, where we can delete the message, but the timestamp and the information is still visible that the message was deleted. So in this case, only the message is getting deleted, but the timestamp and when the sender has sent the message, the information will be still there. So in this, we can see like when we click on delete message, it is searching the record in the database, and it is emptying the message. And uh, after deleting the message, it will be showing as the message is empty and deleted, the status will be updated to deleted, and then the format of that message will be changed. So this is how the process works. And a great example, how interaction between client server and database works. So as a customer, there is an example of hotel. When we go to any restaurant, we are interacting with servicers, and servicers are whatever dish we want, we are requesting, and they are responsible to get the dish. And they are for that reason, like they take the menu, and they take the order, and they go to cookers. Whatever we have ordered, cookers are responsible to prepare the dish. So in other words, we can say whatever data we are requesting, we want to see the profile pic of our friend, we want to see one page, yesterday's example, cricket team page, Indian cricket team page. If we click on that, will get the details from the database. So whatever we are requesting, cookers are fetching the data from database, or preparing the dish and then sending it back with the servers. And then servicers are getting the data, the final step. And then coming to the Python full stack. And after that, we also starting simultaneously with app development. So we have seen like interest in our group that many candidates are like already being into this field of Flutter. So we can get into the Flutter, and we can explore simultaneously Flutter as well as Python full stack. So I'm the one like who is like in Python full stack development since last 2.5 years. So I'll be guiding Python full stack development. Simultaneously, our team together will contribute to app development, and we'll prepare all the resources, and we'll be using it for all the new beginners and new joiners. All right, guys. So that's it for today. Thank you so much. And this is the words from Vikas, and it was an excellent PPT, Vikas, and we got very much informative, and we learned many new things. So these are examples which were very real time and practical. All right, Vikas. So do you have anything to say? One more thing is there, we can also start mean stack or merge stack. What we can do is, we'll apply those logics like when we did what we discussed in yesterday's class. So whatever new thing we are trying to learn, we'll follow 4 steps: awareness and implementation, and then matching 10 projects, and then we are going to creativity. So for that mean stack, we are going to explore. But to be productive, like whatever we have so far in our hand is full stack development with Python. So let's cover Python full stack development first. It will be boosting your confidence when you're able to develop the whole application independently. You are able to deploy, develop the whole application. Then with that, high level of confidence, we can get into MERN stack, mean stack, and definitely we'll explore all the fields as per the requirement of our projects. So today itself, we plan to start the classes, as we are done with the introduction part to all the other technologies. Let's initiate the process today. And for that, I'm going to create a GitHub repository where I can push all the codes, and I'm going to create a new folder and all. So we'll plan and start accordingly, right? So today, we are going to start full stack development using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, Python. All right, so guys, for that we are having some prerequisites. We need a code editor, and that's it, right? So for that, we are going to use Visual Studio Code, or you can also go with Sublime Text. You can also go for using some other code editor, Notepad plus plus, or there are multiple other code editors. But I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. Let's start with a very basic initiative. So I'm going to create a new folder which we can upload all the code and practice code to the GitHub. So full stack, and I'll explain you the our process and the steps which we are going to follow. All right, guys. So crazy, are you ready to start? All right. So new. So as we have divided the part, there are like three parts: front end, back end, and database. So I'm gonna start with front end, and for front end we are going to start with HTML, and then we are going to style our web page using CSS, and after struggling with CSS, and we are getting into Bootstrap, where we don't have to write extra lines of CSS. Everything like it's very easy to use. Bootstrap, using Bootstrap we are going to develop responsive web applications. So after Bootstrap we are getting into JavaScript to make our web pages interactive, right? So with very basic syntaxes we are going to start our journey. With very few syntaxes we are going to get into project development. As I said, getting into project development is following a practical approach, and when we are doing practical approach, we are much focused and much at the learning level. So let's say here somebody says like my screen is not visible. All right, guys. So how many of you are already aware of HTML? So HTML is just we can write it in a notepad. So let me just start with the notepad, and we don't need even the text editor. So it's simple, like we don't need even see the basic thing is that we can write it in a notepad, and I'll just show you one basic example, and then we'll get into the Visual Studio Code where we can write big scripts. So here this is test.html. So it's that easy. We are just writing one notepad and saving it, and it's already there. Let me just use another one. So test one. So saving it. So now we have got that file on my desktop, right? So here we have got test1 2, which represents in a Chrome icon, because I have already opened the HTML file using Chrome browser. We can use any other browser. There are like default settings. When we open it with Chrome browser, it always opens with Chrome browser. So this is the button which I have created, and the code for the button we can see here. If I copy and paste this button 3 times, we see there are 3 buttons. So it's that simple. We don't need any compiler, we don't need any software to install and writing HTML code. There is a structure we need to follow. I have directly started with the button, but there is a structure, guys. Today we started our journey, and we started coding in front end. So for that, let's understand how HTML works, how to execute the HTML, and start with the very first HTML code. And I have given the name is index.html. So the index.html name is the very first HTML file for our web application. Or we have for all the projects, index.html is the main file. So am I visible and my screen is visible? I'm audible and my screen is visible, guys?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm very excited that we already we just started the coding part. So let's understand the structure of HTML. So as I said, like we have just created 3 buttons directly. So I did this to show you that all these things are not mandatory, like doc type and head and body. There is some purpose, but without that your documents is getting rendered in Chrome browser, as we can see. So there is some standard we need to follow, but without that also your HTML is getting rendered. So there is some purpose. We'll get to know about it. So there is a tag called head and then body, and head and body is wrapped inside HTML. So the structure of HTML is starting from doc type HTML, HTML head and body, right? So many of the beginners, just they start coding, they write the code in this way, like I'm going to use those same buttons over here. So because of VS Code, it's automatically, creating some extra spaces. It's also called as indentation. But for beginners, I'm showing, if we write the code like without indentation, it's hard to understand. So better, for each tag we follow the standard, like when we come down with, we should come up with extra indentation like this. So basically it seems much better and understandable. So the same code again, I'm going to open, and for that, like, we have created a folder called front end. I have to go to the folder, and full stack, inside full stack we have front end. So inside front end I have created index.html, and we are able to just click that file and open it into the browser, right? So I have a shortcut for it. Instead of going to all the folders, what we can do is, as we are using Visual Studio Code, it's a benefit for us. We can go to the tab called extensions, and here we just need to type live server. Live server, I have already installed it, so you just search live server and click on install. And once we have done installation of live server, we can right click the file, and within the same file itself, we can launch a temporary local server which is rendering our code, right? So here we can see open with live server option. So if I click on open with live server, that's it. We don't need to go to folder, and we can check, we can directly write the code, and it will be automatically updating the code. So let me just show you the real time update. So if I remove these two buttons and save, it's automatically reloading, and it saves a lot of time while we are developing, right? So let's get into HTML again. So this is the basic structure, as I was saying, head and body. So if I add this button in head, what happens? Let's see. So we are still able to see the button, right? Because whatever we are seeing in the web page, like it's there. So generally we use head tag to add all these CSS links, JavaScript links, meta tags and all. So let me show you. Meta tags are like, we are using different meta tags, and we are using links to CSS and JavaScript. In head tag we have the title. So here we are going to name our web page. So this is nothing but hello, or a basic web page we are going to build. So whatever I have added in the title, we can see that on a Chrome tab, it shows the same title, and here we can see that. So every website has their icon which we can add using meta tags, and there are like title, after that, like multiple other things can be added in the head tag. But remember this part, like whatever we have to show in the web page, it should be there within the body tag. So we cannot add like head button or all the other tags in head tag. So let's start with very basic tags. Every time we start anything, we just use hello world as an example. So let's write the hello world in different sizes. So there are like different sizes in HTML. Let's say you wanted to add the main heading and then subheading. So the same word can be represented in many different ways. So it